While everyone was swooning over Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, I was just waiting for the show that would have an actual real angel spoil me rotten. And here it is, Studio Apartment, Good Lighting, Angel Included, a series in the spring 2024 anime season. The show with more accidental bathroom walk-ins in its first 2 episodes than most of the old harem shows had in its entire running. Which, by the way, is an insane feat, let me tell you. It has a cute angel, she spoils the MC rotten, he panics every time he gets close to her, and there's tons and tons of lewd shots. What more can you ask for in a standard perfect waifu show? But is there anything else to this show? I'm gonna get into that with my first impressions of the first 2 episodes, so let's jump right into it. Studio Apartment, Good Lighting, Angel Included opens up with Shintaro, who is living alone. He's a high schooler, he has a part-time job. One day, after he gets off of work, he's super tired, he comes home to an empty apartment, flops down on the bed to go to sleep, at which point he starts to kind of wish that there was somebody else there. He feels lonely. Well, his wish gets granted because he wakes up the next morning to a girl sleeping on his balcony. He immediately panics, drops a bunch of milk on her, apologizes to her, lets her get changed inside of his bathroom, at which point he freaks out. And this is the point in which Toa reveals to him that she's an angel, that she's flying down here in order to meet humans, learn more about them. She was tasked with that. Like, God told her, you need to learn more about humans, so go on down there. They technically give them 2 options. The first option is to go down there, be above the humans, with your wings spread out, glowing, and talking to them of a higher position. Or they can hide their wings and just mingle amongst the humans, live amongst them, and learn more about them that way. Well, she pretty much chose the second, was flying around, eventually found his apartment balcony, fell asleep there. She actually thought it was a mansion. She thought the whole apartment complex was a mansion and that he had this one room, but no, he actually is like in the storage room. But yeah, she's there now and he's thinking, man, this girl's a nut job. She's got to be crazy. She ran away from home. She thinks she's an angel. Yeah, this girl's bad news. Well, his alarm goes off. He has to get to work, so he kind of quickly shoos her out of the apartment, says, you know, go back home or whatever, take care. Runs off to work, comes back home, and then as he's coming home, he ends up spotting her walking with a random middle-aged man. He's like, oh, well, you found your dad. That's great. And she's like, no, he's just a nice man that says that he's going to take me to a hotel, which he, when he freaks out, says, no, grabs her by the hand, rushes her home, and says, you got to be careful. But yeah, this is the point where she's like, you know, look, she has no place to go, obviously. I kind of liked her, you know, being here and communicating with her, the food that she makes and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to let her stay here. And that's the point which she gets happy and her wings kind of pop out. There seems to be a thing with Toa that whenever she gets excited, she can't help but expand her wings. So that's the point in which he realizes, oh yeah, she's actually an angel. But anyways, yeah, that kind of cuts from there to a bunch of different scenarios where, yes, he has to get her, you know, toothbrush and cup and all that kind of stuff. So they go out shopping. They get too much attention, so decides to get her a new outfit. There's people commenting on how they're a cute couple. All that kind of stuff happens till eventually they go home. And then we get this whole scenario of Shintaro pretty much learning that he's no longer alone. So, yes, cue the over and over again walking in on each other in the bathroom because he can't seem to get that into his head that she's there now. And tons of lewd shots. And yes, tons of him imagining what's going on in the bathroom whenever she's taking a shower or whatever. All that kind of stuff plays out. There is a lot of emphasis here on both sides. On Shintaro's side, it is, yes, somebody that has always been lonely, now having companionship. Somebody that's taking care of him. He feels spoiled. He doesn't know if he deserves having such great cooking done for him. He has to go to work and school, obviously. His interaction with his friends and all that kind of stuff. Realizing that he's going to have to start hiding the fact that she's cooking food for him and everything. And then, yes, on Toa's side, there's the emphasis on what her task is. As an angel, their duty is to pretty much speak God's words to people, guide people to heaven, their souls to heaven, and additionally, yes, bring them happiness. Which this is kind of the shtick with Toa so far, is that, yes, she's extremely oblivious of anything in humans, doesn't know what anything is, doesn't know how this works or that works, doesn't know how the bath works, and yes, doesn't know the ins and outs of humans and that some people are bad, some people are good, and ultimately, how does one bring somebody else happiness? That seems to be the key thing there, is that how do I bring Shintaro happiness? He seemed like a nice guy, he's letting her stay there, letting, you know, taking care of her and paying for her clothes. How can she bring him happiness? And that seems to be sort of what is going to be her goal, is figuring out what that is, even though, as we can already see, she's brought him plenty of happiness. She just doesn't know what that is. So that seems to be the stick there. So, yeah, and when at school, we find out that this Tsumugi girl is obviously extremely madly in love with Shintaro because at some point when she was in first grade, he helped her find her way back home. So she's dedicated her entire life to loving Shintaro. First love, you know? The childhood friend, technically. I don't know. But we all know it's not going to happen. But yeah, that's the setup so far with the first 2 episodes of Angel Apartment. My thoughts. This is going to be pretty much mixed on who you ask. I think this is one of those primary shows where you kind of have to know what you're coming into, and if you're looking for that, you're going to get it. And if you're looking for anything else, I don't know this is ever going to have anything else. This is one of those ones that, by the playbook, like, it is literally hitting all the check marks. How do you make a perfect waifu, ecchi-esque type of show? It's hitting all the check marks. You have the guy that's really, really lonely, that needs somebody to take care of him, and every time the girl is anywhere near remotely close to him, he goes wah, 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 and he panics and screams inside of his head every 2 seconds. That's Shintaro. He is the bog standard, perfect waifu, main type of show, main character. He doesn't want to touch the main female. He can't get anywhere near them. Now, Shintaro's not in the realms that some shows are, where it seems like he's got like a girl phobia. Like, he can interact with Toa. Like, he's good at communicating. So I can give him that. He's a good boy in the idea that he doesn't do anything bad, and he's trying to help Toa. He can at least communicate, which a lot of these shows, the main guy even fails at that. But yes, he is obnoxious in the idea that anytime something remotely close to sensual happens, he has to scream in his head. That part, I don't know why that's a funny thing in Japan, but they can't seem to get enough of it. These storytellers and mangakas can't seem to get enough of that type of storytelling. The screaming in the head every 2 seconds. But he's doing that. So it does play a lot into that. On the opposite end with Toa, she is going to be falling into the trope of the extremely oblivious girl character. She doesn't know what she's doing is, you know, embarrassing. Now, it does seem to kind of break itself in the idea that you have this very pure being coming down to earth, but yet she does understand the idea of modesty and the idea that, yeah, she will panic if he walks into the bathroom for her. Now, she doesn't do like typical female characters do, where immediately when Shintaro walks into the bathroom, she turns around and punches him. Or if she walks in on him, she doesn't immediately punch him like some female characters do, which is always annoying. You walked in on him and you punch him. At least she's not in that realm, but she does have modesty, it seems, even though at other times it doesn't seem like she has modesty. It ultimately kind of comes down to, it feels more like she's actually panicking because she's in a place that he is going to, and thus she's taking up that space. So like, oh crap, I didn't know you need to come in here, I'm sorry, and she panics because of that. But still, she does kind of play into the oblivious character moment. She's a fish out of water character. So what I think they're going to be mostly doing with her is playing off the joke of she doesn't understand how this works, she doesn't understand how this works, she doesn't know that this is actually kind of inappropriate to do, or that you should avoid this because the middle-aged man is going to take you to a love hotel. she's gonna play into that obliviousness, and that's probably going to be mostly her joke there. So yeah, what I was saying earlier is depending on who you ask here, it's going to be two-sided here. If that's what you're looking for, which is, again, going to be the standard, like this is just, they're hitting all the check marks. You know what you're getting into. That's what you're looking for. This show kind of hits it, and it hits it on spades. It has a great style to it. I will admit that Shintaro's character design looks stupid. Shintaro's character design looks so stupid. He's got, I don't know, he's got like a, I don't know, a frogman face thing going on. I don't know what it is. His face and eye proportions just look so off. But visually, it looks really good, and the naughty shots look really good. It's got a chef kissness to the ecchi. So if you're looking for that, it's hitting all the check marks, and it looks good besides Shintaro's dumb, ugly looking face. It looks good. On the opposite end, yeah, if you are looking for anything outside the box, this show doesn't have it. This show is hitting all the same checkpoints, and it's not going to give us anything really unique. The only sign of a possibility here is maybe going to be around maybe some other side characters they haven't introduced yet. So far, we've only introduced, again, the main two, Toa and Shintaro. We've introduced Tsumugi, who is obviously the unrequited love character that has never confessed to Shintaro and probably will at some point in episode 8 or 9, and then he'll deny her in a passive way so that she has a heartbreak. But maybe some of the other characters could play into something fun. Maybe we'll get another introduction of another angel character or something like that. There's a shot of one character in the heavenly setting in the OP, which I'm at this point wondering if she's going to be the Kami character. We'll make the Kami be a lolly. Of course we'll make the Kami a lolly. I'm just going to predict that. We're going to make Kami a lolly, because that's how it works in these types of shows. It plays right into it. The only thing that kind of does sort of itch a little bit there that it could do something unique is the idea that really quickly we're already establishing that people are finding out about Toa. She sucks at hiding her wings. Whenever she gets happy, she spreads them. And we have like these little brief shots, like at the end of episode 2, technically you have Toa's being sent off from the school, and she immediately pops out her wings and flies off, and the unrequited love Tsumugi sees it. So we're already having characters take note that this girl's an angel. So that's probably going to turn something fun there. Maybe it's going to be Tsumugi trying to, again, fearful of Shintaro, is trying to keep him from the angel or something like that. Or maybe she might go super yandere and, you know, threaten that she'll reveal Toa just to get rid of her. That would be nasty. That would be nasty. I doubt it. I doubt it. Again, based on the fact the first 2 episodes have been pretty by the book, I don't know that it'll actually do something interesting, but it could. And again, that's not to say that that's all bad. Going by the book is not technically a bad thing. I'm just saying it for those that want something different. You're probably not going to find it here. You know what you're coming into. It's on the label. It's on the cover. Do you want it? Go for it. If you want anything else, so far, it's not getting into anything new. I did find one little skit kind of funny, and the idea that Toa keeps referencing this Good Kid's Guide to Earth. Apparently, the angels all get this book that tells them how to function when they're on Earth. And she kind of keeps referencing it whenever it comes to what they're supposed to do. You know, yeah, bring happiness to the people, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it also has, like, how to cook really good food. Like, she cooks a really good meal, and she's like, yeah, I found it in the Good Kid's Guide to Earth. It's like this book that just literally has everything in it. There's also a fun concept they have every now and then. Whenever she's speaking in regards to guidance from the heavens, it always has... I know it's not the chime for like a clock, but it kind of sounds like that. But it almost kind of like this gothic chime going on. The bells tolling as if she's getting some sort of word from Kami himself or herself. Again, it could be the lolly. I'm thinking it's going to be the lolly. But underneath all that, like I said, in the end, this show is bog standard. It is going by the book. It has a good visual design to it besides Shintaro's ugly face, which I'll still keep making fun of. But it has, at least underneath there, a pretty fun message. It's going to play off the fish out of water, which I think is going to be a lot of laughs. I think Toa's going to be cute in the idea that she's going to be oblivious to a lot of things. And I think that's going to add a lot to the etchiness and the fun of that whole aspect, which I'm personally going to be looking forward to. The ecchi's good, and I'll take the ecchi when I can get it. But underneath there, yes, I can probably see that we might have some good messages on how to make somebody happy, which... Again, based on it being bog standard, I don't think it's going to do anything groundbreaking, but it could. Really hitting on the idea of what makes one happy could be something more than just feeding him food and he goes moi and he's got companionship. But we'll see. We'll see. But in the end, that's my thoughts on Studio Apartment. Good lighting, Angel included. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you think of the series if you're going to be checking it out. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to get my content and news reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. I'll be doing first impressions of all the shows of the season itself, so definitely stick around. If you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips, links, with links, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.